As tens of thousands of students prepare to head back to school, one school board is raising red flags. The Hamilton District School Board says it's anticipating a school bus driver shortage for a third straight year as they continue to experience problems staffing all their driver positions. So the question tonight is, if Hamilton School Board is airing these concerns, do officials here in the GTA foresee any red flags? And concerns over the school bus shortage have been an ongoing dilemma. We've been bringing you numerous stories of frustrated parents who say their kids have been left outside waiting as school boards and busing companies struggle to line up enough drivers. In a matter of weeks, these buses you see will be hitting the roads, but will there be enough drivers picking up and dropping off your kids? A spokesperson here in Toronto says there are enough drivers in the city.
We have 7 school bus operators that provide service for the school boards through 12 different divisions throughout the city. They've been providing input since the start of the summer. Last week we asked them specifically if they have sufficient drivers to start September, and the overwhelming answer was yes, they have sufficient drivers not only for the routes but also for their spare pool of drivers to cover for any days the drivers may be off sick or vacation.
The Peel District School Board tells CityNews that all 1,300 bus routes are covered and they don't expect any staffing challenges aside from the typical start of the year delays where drivers and families are getting adjusted to routes. It's the same in Durham region where the school board says all the routes that transport approximately 30,000 students are covered. And the Toronto Student Transportation Group says the problems in previous years can be chalked up to a new contract that saw some drivers shuffled between different companies that led to some of these drivers retiring. Now, we went straight to Average Transportation today, and they know firsthand the challenges of hiring these drivers. Should there be a concern this year?
I think the numbers overall are a little better than last year, but yes, there will be some delays in the Greater Toronto Hamilton area.
What's behind this shortage?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons why. The job itself, a split shift. I've heard drivers talk to me about their pay and what they get paid, and a lot of that's been addressed, maybe not in certain areas, but in Toronto, for instance, we're at $21 an hour now for 4 hours minimum. Mississauga, Brampton as well. Halton here, we're at $20 an hour, 4 hours minimum. So we're trying to get the pay up to make it more attractive.
And officials here in Toronto say the goal was to hire and train 200 drivers by September. They say they are close to meeting that goal. Ahead on City News, I'll tell you why one bus company says it's not recruiting that's the problem, but it's retention and keeping these drivers. This sign says that all school bus drivers are desperately needed throughout the GTA. As we've been telling you throughout the show, school officials in Toronto, Durham, and Peel say they have enough drivers for the start of the year. But as I spoke with the president of a major bus company, I learned recruitment isn't the only problem, but keeping these drivers throughout the year is a bigger challenge.
Well, I can't speak for all the bus companies. If you're just talking certain areas, I have some shortages, but in other areas I'm good.
Which areas do you have shortages in?
More in the Hamilton area. I have shortages more than any of the other operating areas that I have. And, you know, we're doing everything we can to shore that up before school starts, but I know just how the numbers work and experience that we're going to be running a few routes short there. But I think Toronto's looking okay. Mississauga, Brampton's looking pretty good. Halton's looking pretty good.
We hear school boards saying that all their routes are staffed. As of now, can that potentially change down the line?
It can change. A lot of operators will be reporting that their routes are covered, but come the last week or the first few days of school, somebody who's been trained, they get out on the road and they actually experience it. They unfortunately come back in sometimes and say, here's the keys, not for me.
We're hearing retention is a challenge.
Yes, retention's always a challenge because it's a part-time job. You know, I think if we could get to a situation where we're paying, in 4 hours, we're paying an 8-hour part-time job rate, I think we could help mitigate that. But, you know, during how the process works, it's very difficult to pay that kind of money.
What else do you think needs to be done in order to ensure that there are no staffing challenges?
if I knew that, I would have done it by now. Like I said, we've been in business over 40 years, and I just think it's the dynamic of the job more than anything is the number one factor. Not everybody wants the responsibility of driving kids.
And we also reached out to the Ministry of Education. A spokesperson says they will be providing a little over $900 million to school boards to help address the challenges that come with student transportation.